Hey guys, Cold Caliber 89 here. Wanted to go over the Mosaic Assassin build. I played it in Season 3, did a grind in 99. And as far as Season 4 goes, it is completely broken. They changed it to where Phoenix Strike, and I believe Blades of Ice, and I know for a fact Claws of Thunder do not have a next hit delay anymore. So what that results in is every time you use Dragon Talon, instead of it proccing once every other time or every third time, it now procs every time. And basically is like a 200% damage multiplier for this build. I'll have footage playing in the background this entire time. Once I'm done going over the build itself, I'll leave you guys to your instruments to watch, and I'll go over some things that I'm doing and some things that I would like to point out during the gameplay footage. As far as stats goes, you're going to want to make sure you have enough strength and depth, as usual, for your gear, and the rest just goes into vitality. Moving into skill point distribution, we'll put 1 point into Cloak of Shadows, 1 point into Burst of Speed. You're going to want to try to make sure you have at least 25 Fade for the 25% damage reduction from that. Then we go into weapon block. You want to make sure you have at least 54% weapon block. I made it all the way to 60% in my in-game build on Season 3, but it's not necessary. It does help a little bit. From there, you just put 1 point in Fist of Fire. I know that's a lot of people want to max out Fist of Fire, but you do not want to do that because it removes all or most of your lifesteal and mana steal. A level 25 Fist of Fire will take 75% of your physical damage and convert it to fire. It's not adding fire damage. It removes physical and replaces it with fire. From there, you're going to put just 1 point into Tiger Strike, 1 point into Cobra Strike, obviously for prerequisite to Phoenix Strike, but also for that nice life leech. And then you're going to max out Claws of Thunder, Blades of Ice, and Phoenix Strike. If you do not have Dragon Flight on your claw, on one of your claws, then you're going to want to make sure you get that. It's very helpful, especially before you have Enigma. Once you're done with that, you don't want to really go over 4 kicks on Dragon Talon. The reason being is because this build, I played it 4 kicks all season last season, but this build suffers from doing too much damage, and when you're doing too much damage, you only need 1 kick, one Dragon Talon. So anything more than 4 is just locking you in place and allowing people to hit you without you being able to life leech if there's nothing nearby. And then for the gear, there will be some budget options. I will put them up on the screen. You do not need Infinity necessarily, as you will see in the footage. Right now you're seeing footage that is without Infinity. I go into footage later on where I'm using Infinity, and it's faster, yes, but it's not necessary, in my opinion, anymore. If you can afford it, or if you find the 2 Burr runes, Mal rune, go for it, whatever. But you can use a Shaco with a Shale rune in it. That'll get you even more FHR and allow you to kind of spread out your charms around or whatever else you might need. Or you could use a Rock Stopper or a Vampire Gaze with a Shale in it. Those are some good options for your helmet. As far as your armor goes, if you do not have Enigma, then you're going to use a Treachery if you're only at 16 or lower Fade, or under 16 Fade. If you have a 16 Fade or higher, then go ahead and use that Hustle. That Hustle is really good for melee characters. It's got a lot of attack speed, a lot of movement speed. It's got evade on it, and then some resistances as well. For your belt, the in-game belt will be Verdungos, and I'm going to show you all the in-game gear that I was using in Season 3. But you can use String of Ears. It's very viable, for sure. The next piece of gear that you're going to possibly want to use as a budget option would be the boots. And the boots, I was using Shadow Dancers. It's got FHR on it, faster run walk, vitality, some dexterity. So yeah, if you go with Shadow Dancers, you're good to go. But in place of that, until you get Shadow Dancers, you can use Gore Riders. So that's a good budget option. And then last but not least, if you are playing this build, the most important piece of gear you're going to want to have is a pair of sunglasses. Put them bad boys on, and you're good to go. All right, let's watch this gameplay footage, and I'll point out things here as we go along. See here, I'm not using Infinity at all during this footage. I teleport out of Chaos Sanctuary to make sure my charges stay up. Now, if you're using a weapon swap, I used Wizard Spike and Storm Shield, so I had 102% FCR. You want to make sure you're back on your Mosaics when you hit him, otherwise you're just using up all your charges instantly. One more thing I forgot to mention, you want to make sure you have at least you want to make sure you have at least 47% faster hit recovery and 65 FCR in in-game gear or teleporting on your main weapons to your Mosaics. Health gone. It's like that. Boom. One thing this build does have a little bit of problems with, not that it can't kill it, it's just you take a lot of damage if you get hit a lot with a lot of volleys, and that would be the souls and the witches at the same time. They just tend to do a lot of physical damage. There to see how this does against that. You guys are usually pretty tanky. And you can see there it's taking a little bit longer, but it's still pretty fast. The town portal up by Baal, by his throne, kind of helps with the monsters, so he still spawns them in. As you see there, it just destroyed that first wave, but most classes and builds can on that one. That one's not too terrible. Now you shouldn't have any problem maintaining charges on waves 1 and 2 and 4 and 5. It is the third wave that can kind of get you if they end up spawning Hydras. But as you see here, they didn't spawn Hydras, so I was able to keep going. It's gone. Erased. Simply gone. It'll take a little bit more. Not a big deal, though. Now, as soon as you kill the last of wave 5, you want to stick around for just a couple seconds, make sure he goes through that first laughing animation, and then you want to jump and find something to keep your charges up. If you do not, you will lose your charges and have to charge up on Baal or monsters outside. Damn. Dead. Now we're going to show you some Ubers. I originally had recorded Ubers with and without Infinity, but it was basically the same thing. No Infinity because Mercenary dies. So, a little bit of trouble charging up on these guys. They keep teleporting away from me. decided to go find something else to hit. Ended up finding more of them, but they like stayed in place for me this time, so works for me. Go. Easy. You will notice it does take a little bit of time to kill these, but this is also in players 8. These entire gameplay footage is in players 8. Which, if you ask me, that damage right there is kind of impressive for players 8. It's a steady slide down that health bar. He's just disappearing. Right, on to Duriel. Now I was running Fade when I was fighting the mini Ubers, but aside from aside from Lilith, you could probably get away with Burst of Speed just to kind of get him down even faster. That attack speed really will increase your damage quite a bit since there's no next hit delay anymore. Lilith, make sure you keep those charges up. Very important. Not hard to do, but it's very important. One way to check to make sure, as you just saw, I opened up my character stat screen. One way to make sure that you have all of your charges up is to get all your charges up and check how much damage you deal. And then that way you're going through trying to get them quickly, you'll know that, hey, I've got only one of 3 charges on Phoenix Strike, and I want to make sure I have 2, so I do my lightning damage out of Phoenix Strike. So I always knew that if I was at 41 or 42k, that I was right where I needed to be. Now it's time for Ubers. You'll see my health go down here a bit. I'm wearing T-Gods, so I end up absorbing health, but the life tap from my Drax wasn't proccing. Um, if It's a lot better for you to use a life tap wand on Switch to get that initial life tap off, and then Drax will cover it from there. That's just a trick that everybody uses, I think, nowadays. But I didn't really bother because I knew he wasn't going to be able to kill me. Weapon block and my amount of resistances. I had 296% lightning resist, I believe, plus T Gods. He wasn't going to be able to one shot me. So now remember, this is P8. They're dying this quickly in P8. I can only imagine if you had a spears on in here with an infinity spear. These guys would just melt. And of course, if this was P1, you spawn in P1, P3, you're going to get rid of them awfully fast. Boom. All right, now this is the footage that starts with the Infinity. Building up charges right now. You're going to see, if you watch the very beginning footage, a couple points you'll see is Duriel Kill without Infinity. This is my charges. I didn't get them all yet. There, now I take off, and he's dead. Trav. I did cows on the non-Infinity section of the video. Um, but I didn't bother with the Infinity side of things. It's pointless. I was killing cows before the Infinity proc even came up on them. Now, the way I have this assassin built, um, you can jump packs of dolls. See, there's 4 of them right there. That was about 7 or 8. You can completely just jump them, and it won't. The most I've seen my health go down is when I've had amp damage proc. They had might and extra strong, and it took me down to about a quarter of my health. So that's kind of dangerous, but that was with about 12 to 15 dolls at once. And here you go. That's about 9 or 10, I think. And I tested all of this offline last season, and then from that point forward, every time Durance was terrorized, I would take this character into Durance, and I would clear it of all elites, no matter what they were. It's still going. Turn the volume up a little bit for you guys. I know you all want to hear that assassin kick. Yeah, Sanctuary. Now, if you're trying to jump dolls, you want to make sure that you have battle orders. Because the less health you have, the more you're going to notice your health moving. And it gets pretty bad. It gets you pretty scared pretty quickly. I'm going back here for charges, but you'll notice I kind of messed this one up. But it ends up not being an issue. Teleporting back with my Wizard Spike and Storm Shield. He pops up. I hit him with the Wiz Spike and Storm Shield. Now I have to build up some charges again. I just go for Claws of Thunder, Tiger Strike, and Cobra Strike, and took him out instantly. Now this is Halls of Pain, and this there was in the non-Infinity footage as well, but this is Halls of Pain, and there's a lot of lightning immunes in Halls of Pain usually. And last season, I was running around with my team, and the Sork was static fielding. It was Metal Fingers. He was static fielding for me, and I was hitting everything, and it was taking us way longer than it was to do this right here. Fuck again. Yeah, as you can see, I just charge in head first on most things. This this build really is broken. It needs to be, in my opinion, and several of people I've talked to's opinion, the price of Mosaic should be higher, for one. And secondly, the next hit delay should probably just not affect martial arts sin build. It was already competitive last season. It wasn't rocketing ahead necessarily, and it wasn't falling behind. It was right up there with all the other builds. Like 1 or 2 seconds off there, and I would have lost my charges. I think I do end up losing charges on this specific bail run here, but good example of how much time you have to wait before you have to go refresh them somewhere. Sometimes he just doesn't want to spawn the next wave. I think it was here. Yeah, they ended up spawning a Hydra, unfortunately. I tried to wait around, put a portal up. Already waited too long. Oh, maybe it wasn't here. See, they just get conviction. That infinity just makes them just disappear instantaneously. Pretty sad. And Lister was basically just another minion at that point. He just disappeared too. But I don't use the Sunder Charm. I don't do any of that. I just you have so much elemental damage, there's no point. So you just run fire, cold, lightning, and physical, and you're good to go. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. So if you guys like the video, go ahead and drop a subscribe on my YouTube channel here. You can catch me once in a while on Twitch at twitch.tv/cold caliber. Um, cold caliber 89, I'm sorry. Twitch.tv/cold caliber 89. I will go ahead and leave links to my Twitch down in the description below, and I will put timestamps on the video as soon as I get the chance to. Um, you can also join me on Discord. If you come into my Twitch channel and you type !Discord, you can become part of my Discord community there. And yeah, thanks you